we're not going to be throwing back as much to nostalgia as much as we are current gaming news. So I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit today about Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and what it means for the basically what the release of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare means for the Call of Duty franchise as a whole. So if you've just been walking around with your head up your ass for like the last 3 weeks or so, or if you don't if you basically just don't follow new generation console gaming anyway, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is the new Call of Duty game that's going to be released in November of this year. And part of the game is still going to include, you know, the types of things that we're used to. So a lot of ground tactics, a lot of, you know, standard ground forces, camping. Okay, thank you. And
Sorry.
and you know, things of that nature where the missions are more you know, involved with your teammates. But then there's also going to be the new portion, which is a new introduction to Call of Duty where it's going to be set in space. Now, there's a lot of criticism falling around this from both sides of the spectrum, and when I say that, it'll make a little bit more sense later. But as to why Call of Duty is branching out into putting any kind of gameplay in space when it's typically always been based around either past events that have taken place in the world or is something that's more realistic to what one might experience if that were actually them and it wasn't a game. So I actually asked a friend of mine about this. His name is Zach, to give you guys a little bit of background for those. So Brandon and Deanne, or Monkey Paws and Remo, they already know about this guy. He is very big into first-person shooters, but he does prefer Battlefield to Call of Duty. He prefers the tactics and gameplay of Battlefield games to those of Call of Duty. And recently he purchased Black Ops 3 and was very vocal about how he felt awful that he wasted his money on this game. And so I asked his opinion about Infinite Warfare. Now, prior to me asking him his opinion on this, I did not see anything to do with Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I didn't have any kind of bias because I'd never seen the trailers. I just heard that it was going to be released. And so I was like, how do you feel about this? And I think he shared an opinion that a lot of the gaming world is, obviously by the number of dislikes that are on YouTube for the trailer and all of the complaining that you're hearing from different gaming, you know, sources online, is that with Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, they're trying to cross over into too many types of first-person shooter genres, and they've waited too long to do it. So I decided to go ahead and check out the Infinite Warfare trailer about like 4 or 5 days ago, and I actually witnessed everything that people were talking about within this trailer. And they are really, so I see where they're trying to cross over into realms like Halo or Star Wars, where they're putting you in the cockpit of, you know, a fighter jet, and you're going into space and you're going and fighting your enemies. And that made me, you know, and I want your guys' opinion on this too. You know, the downside of it is this is not what the Call of Duty players want. This is not anything that they have any interest in. But from a standpoint of the game itself, is it positive or negative in their aspect? Because in creating and branching out like this, it does in a sense intrigue players that would not have otherwise played Call of Duty, that may have leaned more towards Halo or more towards Star Wars, to come in and kind of see what this game is about. Or do you feel that it's kind of negative because it's not really going to make a difference, because they're swapping out their, you know, their loyal customers, their loyal Call of Duty players, in exchange for players that would have played other games in the past?
See,
in my opinion, I think, and I don't like saying this, I think it's one of the nails in the coffin for Call of Duty. And this is why. Because, okay, you want to stick people in a fighter jet in the middle of a war to
against
fight
aliens.
Whoever the hell's... Oh,
We'll
sweet.
just say it.
Oh.
We'll just say
Okay.
if you haven't seen the damn trailer yet, you're stuck in a hole, and you probably don't need to be watching G.G.Talk today, but whatever.
Yeah, okay, so fighting alien... Yes, I've seen it, and I've cringed every second. I mean, let's face it. How many with all of the Call of Duty games, they had more than enough chance to put people in a cockpit of a plane. They had a World War II one.
Yep.
I mean, come on. Put us in those. Let's fight people in the air. I mean, that was one of big things. They had plenty of chances, especially with the 360. And even with Black Ops or Black Ops 2. You could have thrown that in there. But to do this now and just be like, okay, we're going to put you in a cockpit. Well, here's space. It's crazy. And it is kind of stepping in on... I mean, it's kind of like they're trying to make a baby with Star Wars and Halo at the same time. It's like, it's not going to work.
Yeah, and that's actually what I mentioned to you the other day, was that with Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and with any of the Call of Duty games in the past, so I have every Call of Duty game, played every Call of Duty game that's out there, and I am like a huge fan of Call of Duty, but when I saw this trailer, I couldn't wrap my head around it because I'm going to get to a point later where just know that it's going to tie together, but where I was just like, why would they have done this? Because all of the other games, you know, I really want to say that the last great game they made, and I think that a lot of Call of Duty players agree on this, is that Black Ops 2 was really where the great Call of Duty games stopped. Now, Call of Duty Ghosts, it was okay, but I mean, I'm sorry if you disagree, Call of Duty Ghosts is the one that came out after Black Ops 2, and I did not like the whole create your character preference. I felt like that they were bringing too much customization into Call of Duty, and I don't know about you guys, but when I play Call of Duty, I don't go in there to build a female soldier. I go in there to wreck shit. I don't go in like to do anything else. I just want to fight enemies and blow shit up. I don't go in there to customize my armor or make it look pretty. Like, I don't care about any of that.
I know.
And so,
and I mean, that's the same thing, is that when Ghosts came out,
well, I wasn't.
What was the first thing we saw? Oh, I'm sorry.
So, I mean, I played Ghosts. I didn't really care for it. You know, it was one of those things. And Deanne, or Monkey Paws, whatever you want to go by, I mentioned this to you quite a few times. I was like, you know, Call of Duty Ghosts is really where it ended for me. You know, I still purchased the other ones because compared to like the in-betweens, I was a huge Modern Warfare fan. I loved Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare 2 was good. Modern Warfare 3 was great. You know, and then Advanced Warfare came out. I gave it the chance that, you know, it deserved. It was okay, but that is really where you started to see like all of these advancements. Sorry. Oh, wait.
Hold on. No, you can keep going. I'm gonna pause this.
I was gonna say you should probably mute Discord. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, everyone. So, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is really where you started to see the mechanics come in that aren't really realistic for even the military that we have now. And that is something that was always genuine to Call of Duty prior to where it was more realistic. You use the same weapons that they might have used at that time, like you would in World at War or Call of Duty 4, you know, any of those games. The other thing, too, that I really find interesting is with the production of Infinite Warfare, you can really see just from the reactions of everybody online that they didn't really take into consideration any kind of perspective or demands from their existing base of consumers. You know, they made this game, they were like, oh, it's going to be great, but like all of Call of Duty is, they came out with a new game 1 year after they just came out with one, and so they didn't really put much into the development of it, I feel. And I think that that's what they're running into, is that they're basically running out of things to do because they're producing so fast. I mean, Call of Duty has basically, hold on. I'm trying to think. I think they've literally come out with one every single year, every November.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, they started doing that after Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah, so I'm pretty
and that's
sure.
When they started to fall off.
Yeah, and so this, and then that brings me to my next topic on this, is that obviously because, well, sorry, did you have a comment?
Yeah, sorry about what just happened. My whole thing is that with the whole coming out 1 year after 1 year, I think it's really put a bind on companies because they do want to kind of be the one on top. And so they feel the need to put out a game every year. And I don't think that's really the case. And Call of Duty's put themselves against a wall.
Well, that's actually...
And now they're just like...
That's actually what I was getting to, was that, you know, in putting out a game every year, you're putting yourself at risk for losing sales. And so with Call of Duty, for those of you who don't know, Call of Duty up until I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, they used to be on a 2-year development cycle. So this was so after Black Ops 2 came out, I believe is when they started putting it on from a 2-year development cycle to a 3-year development cycle. So basically, everything that happened, I think Ghosts wouldn't have been on that dev cycle, though.
No, it wasn't.
I think Advanced Warfare... Hold on, let me think about this. I think Advanced Warfare was... And I know that Black Ops 3 was. So what that means is that instead of only taking 2 years to develop a game, they're now using 3 years to develop a game. And this is what they're coming out with. So, because of kind of, I guess, the backlash that they must have expected that they would feel from Infinite Warfare, they are coming out with, I believe it's the Call of Duty 4 remaster, that you can only get if you purchase Infinite Warfare.
Well, see, my whole thoughts on this is, okay, first, after, I would say, Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 3, they got to a point where all they were doing was reskinning the games and then adding only 1 or 2 little features. Hey, look at this one. You can finally run up walls and do a double jump thing that games have been doing for 3 years now before we ever got to it, since we're starting to lose fans. And they kept doing that to the point that now they're kind of ripping off games like Dangerous Infinity, I think it's called, where literally that whole section of the trailer looked exactly like that entire game is. And games, like you said, like Halo. That pissed off a lot of fans right there. It's like, you're going to try to grab fans that are not going to come to you because they're already playing these great games that are nothing but that to begin with. Then you're alienating the fans that you already have, but yet you're not taking time to just add in new features while doing what you do good to begin with.
You see, and that was kind of like why I wanted to kind of talk about this, was because there is a lot of speculation surrounding it, and I understand that, and that's good because, you know, as gamers, we want that kind of, you know, discussion amongst ourselves. Like, is this really going to be worth? Because you already know, because it's Call of Duty, that it's going to be like $60, $70 to purchase this game. Somebody not muted?
I'm sorry, that was me.
Okay. I was like, okay, but you already know that it's going to be $60 to $70 to purchase this game. To stand on its own, if Infinite Warfare was not being sold with the Call of Duty 4 remaster or whatever it is that they're doing, this game would not sell for shit. I'm not even going to lie about it, because I'm not going to be purchasing Infinite Warfare solely for Infinite Warfare. Like, if I was going to do Infinite Warfare and the Call of Duty 4 remaster, then yes. And that's the only reason, like, that I'm sad that I'm not going to purchase this game, because I loved Call of Duty 4. It was a great game, but I'm not going to waste my money on something that I'm not going to play simply for that. And that brings me kind of, I guess, to the last part of this, is that obviously we've reached a point where Call of Duty, Activision, you know, Infinity Ward, I think it's Activision and Infinity Ward that do the Modern Warfares, are they just kind of trying to keep their presence, keep their presence known? Like, yes, we're here, we're creating things. Or are they kicking a dead dog? Like, are they literally toward the end of their toward the end of line of Call of Duty?
And I can point this out why. If you remember, the original Call of Duties were World War II games. They made like 3 to 4 of them. The thing that separated them and made them such a big company was when they added in new gameplay during those World War II games. But then when the very first Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out, they went into a new genre with new mechanics before anybody else did. But think about it. Since Black Ops 2, what have they been doing? They've been playing catch-up. They've been, we added in this one new mechanic that's just like this other shooter that's been out for 2 years. To the point now with Infinite War, it's like, hey, this looks like exactly like Elite Dangerous, and hey, it looks exactly like Halo. We're adding in these mechanics 4 years late. That's showing me that they're behind the ball and that they're falling. It really does. And I know for a fact that Call of Duty, we had a lot of hardcore players, but after Black Ops 2, with Ghost and Advanced, it threw a lot of people off the first-person shooters. It burnt them out because it was just the same old at that point, and them playing Fall Behind. It burned them out on that series.
Well, it's not only that either. I mean, if you really think about it, the last great storyline came from Black Ops 2. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. But, it's a 50-50 thing for me. I play the campaign on these games. Most of these people don't even know that there's a fucking campaign on Call of Duty. But there is. It's a story that you can play.
Yes.
And the other 50% is online gameplay. And that's just a shitstorm, too. Like, I just feel like that there's not much more that you can get out of this without completely losing the focus that was your primary objective when you first created Call of Duty in the first place. And you can really witness that. If you guys haven't seen the Infinite Warfare trailer, if you go and watch it, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you've seen it, you probably know what I'm talking about too. But where they... Like, how realistic is it that our military is really going to get in fighter jets that go up into space and go fight aliens? Do you see what I mean? Like, they're deviating from the more realism side of what Call of Duty used to be and branching out into the fantasy side of it that Halo and all these other games already are.
Yeah. And, like, I'd like to add is that with the whole adding the remastered of Call of Duty 4. What was the main reason that I really loved playing Call of Duty 4 was it was multiplayer, but no one cared. Got off work, they got home, they relaxed, they did whatever they needed to do, they got online, and we just shot each other. And we had fun just playing for fun. And I think that's one of the reasons why I don't want it. Because I want to remember Call of Duty 4 the way I played it. Back when, it was people that, got off work. They got home, they relaxed, they did whatever they needed to do. They got online. And we just shot each other. And we had a fun time doing it. No one was pissing and moaning, and no one was like, oh, you cheated, oh, you did that. No, it's a game. And I'm with Michelle. I'm not going to buy this game solely for the remaster either. Even if I did want to play it. I'm not going to play Infinite Warfare. So I'm not gonna buy it. A $60 game just for 4 maps?
Then you're voting with
from. Yeah, I mean it's just.
You're letting them.
I think they're. Yeah, I mean they are shooting themselves in the foot, basically. I mean, if they took it back. And we're like, okay, if we're gonna do this, let's do this right. And I think them coming out with a game every year has killed this company more than anything else. Because, I mean, you're right, they've been playing catch up with everybody else. and now they're going into space with aliens. I'm sorry, what?
You're like,
I saw the trailer and I cried a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Let's just be honest here. Battlefield 1 trailer kicked the living dog shit out of the Infinite Warfare trailer. Battlefield 1...
I think it did. And that's where it's going to shoot them in the foot, is that everybody from Call of Duty is going to go to Battlefield.
New concept, a new battle arena that I've been asking for a long time. Is like, we've done all these World War II shooters, but where's World War I, where all this modern tactics and weaponry first started in its infancy? And it just looks amazing the way they set it up. I can't wait to pull some Red Baron shit up in the skies. That's going to be amazing. That's just going to be awesome. Fun. Oh, yeah. With that old school minigun on the front of it.
Yeah, it'll be. I think that's how they should have done. That's how Call of Duty should have done it, and they should have done it a long time ago. Because there are already jet fighter games out there. So it wasn't out of their realm of possibility.
Well, and if you think about it, I mean, it could really go both ways, because, I mean, first-person shooter war games were already out there, too. So I get that, there was Battlefield, there was Call of Duty. But I guess the problem that I'm having with what Call of Duty is doing is that they're, in the quest to move away from, what they've already done in the past. Obviously, if you're going from... past battles or, current things that could happen, you're going to hit a dead end. And I understand that. And adding in, some unrealistic things like, oh, here, what did he call them? He was like, let me give you some booster boots or something like that, and that's fine, great. But I wouldn't put it under the name Call of Duty anymore, because it's not Call of Duty. Call of Duty is what we used to know, and now it's not Call of Duty anymore.
And see, that's where Battlefield 1 kicked their ass. They went with innovation and their own ideas, where Call of Duty went with, shit, this is what people are playing now, let's go do what they're doing. It's unrealistic.
And it's also that
second rate at this point. You're literally copycatting, and you're considered second rate at this point when you do that. So it's like, why are we go with you?
Yeah. Sorry.
Continue.
Also, that Battlefield doesn't do a one-year release every year. Another game that did that and shot themselves for it is Assassin's Creed. And then they've stopped that. The next one's not coming out till next year. I think that's what a lot of companies have started to realize, is that you can't do a game every year. And Call of Duty just hasn't grasped that concept. Because it's literally has been a game every year since Modern Warfare 3. And the turnouts for them are huge. I kind of want to see what the turnout for this is going to be, because I'll laugh.
Small at best. I think it's literally the first game trailer, one of the very first big AAA game titles, to where its trailer came out and it had way more dislikes than likes on YouTube. That's saying a lot.
I think it's a very big hit to the ego for them.
Oh yeah.
I don't think the Call of Duty franchise is going to be alive much longer after this, if this is how they're going to keep going about it.
And another thing to what she said, and I was going to bring it up earlier, was that they used to have campaigns, and very good ones at that. Think about when the nuclear bomb went off in Modern Warfare 1. Think about when the dude set the nukes up into space in that entire scene. Or the Russian airport. They had actual stories to these. And after a while, they're just like, fuck the story, it's all about the multiplayer. Which people were already starting to get sick of.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was more in demand than, I mean, multiplayer was more in demand than the campaign was. Because like I said, most of the people that, you know, play Call of Duty, there are a good portion that do play the campaign and actually care about the storyline.
Yeah.
But Call of Duty is literally one of those games that you pop into your console and you're like, I'm going to go play with people online. I don't care about any of the rest of this because it doesn't unlock anything for my online campaign. Now, in Black Ops 3, you can get add-ons for your multiplayer by playing the campaign, in case you didn't know that. But there are things that you can unlock in the campaign that go toward your online experience, in the campaign for the online experience that you can't get otherwise, which is fine because they did try to incorporate it a little bit in there. Also, I want to say that the Warfare, the like Modern Warfare games, Infinite Warfare, those are not made by the same developers that do Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, so they do trade off.
Yeah, that's Treyarch.
I also want to mention that. So
yeah.
And another thing is, sorry, you can go ahead.
Sorry. My whole thing is that, I mean, with the whole campaign issue, aren't they all basically the same thing? Like, at a certain point, they all turn to the same thing. You have your missions and everything else, but eventually, someone you trusted is going to betray you.
Yeah, just like it is in every other video game.
But they didn't have jaw-dropping moments that actually made you feel certain ways. That was the thing that really made Call of Duty big. And people talked about their campaigns. Modern Warfare 1, the nuke going off, and you're playing the dying soldier that you barely got to know. Yeah. You have to sit there and watch him gasp his last breath as he sees all his friends dead around him.
Yeah.
The second one, that Russian airport scene. You are playing a fucking terrorist. You might be undercover, but you're playing a terrorist killing people. And that struck a nerve and made you think yet again. And now it's to the point, and I'm noticing this with other games like Titanfall. Destiny is now only $12 with only being out for not that long of a time. Games that are coming out now that are only multiplayer are starting to drop off in price really fast, and their lifespan are very short for the multiplayers nowadays. People only start to play them for a month or two, and then, we're done, we're on to the next thing. And I think that's another hit to them, is the whole multiplayer aspect. As people are learning, you need more than just multiplayer. You really do at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for the casual person that just wants to play a game and not have to deal with bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 90% of my time I just fight bots on Call of Duty now because I can't stand people.
That's pretty much what we do. We fight each other against bots.
So, yep, that is exactly what we do. Well, that and then of course, if you haven't seen it yet, which I'm pretty sure like everybody and their mom has already seen this, but what's the name of the map? Nuketown. Yes.
Nuketown.
Yep. Nuketown on Black Ops 3. Sorry, I knew what it was, and I was just like thinking Reese Cups for whatever reason. Nuketown, is it 2065? Is that what it's called?
I can't
in Black
think
Ops
about
3.
it.
Anyway, the Nuketown map in Black Ops 3 has a Doctor Who Easter egg where if you can shoot all the arms off of the mannequins on the map in less than 2 minutes, I believe,
they become creepy.
They turn into what are the Weeping Angels from Doctor Who. So I spend a lot of my life doing that on that game.
Well,
have you ever gotten it?
No.
What was the one on Black Ops 2 where if you shot off, like, I think all the heads, like an old school retro game would pop out on the big screen next to the bus and you got to play that?
I don't know. I never saw that one.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah, I didn't hear about it.
Nope, me neither.
Yeah, if you shot off all the mannequins' heads, you could play a video game on the screen on Black Ops 2 on Nuketown.
Oh, and Black Ops 1 is backwards compat for Xbox One players now, so.
And that to a lot of people, that was the last really great Call of Duty game was Black Ops 1.
So you can play the original Nuketown 2025. Yeah.
Well, it was Nuketown.
Wait, it wasn't 2025,
no,
was
like
it?
1960, yeah, because it's during the whole nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole era of Vietnam.
Slow down, Deanne.
Sorry, my bad.
She's racing ahead of its time.
Exactly right. No, but
the original Nuketown. That's what I meant to say. I'm just ignore me.
Oh God. But so Yeah, that's my spiel on Call of Duty. I mean, I'm very sad to say that this will be the first year in 10 years, 11. Hold on. 11 years that I haven't purchased a Call of Duty game. It's going to be a sad moment when I walk in there and walk out with Battlefield instead of Call of Duty. But
I think you'll enjoy it more.
Yeah, I have to go for that. You know, I'm really excited about Battlefield. You know, I've watched the trailer for that one too, and I don't know if it was the gameplay or the remix of White Stripes, but something sold me on it, and that's what we're getting. So
the remake of White Stripes.
I didn't even do the last Battlefield. The last one I did was Battlefield 2. This one got me excited because, like I said, new scenery, new mechanics, a whole new idea of how to go about it, and it's like, oh shit, I'm gonna do something that is new. You know what I mean? Something that excites me.
I feel like the Battlefield, just from the trailer that I watched, like I said, like I told you guys, I've never played Battlefield games before, but I feel like just in watching the Battlefield 1 trailer, that it does throw it back to like what you would have experienced when you played Call of Duty 4, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, you know, World at War, things like that, where it brings you back into a time that you didn't really experience yourself, obviously, but it's not trying to tie in like alien technology or something more advanced that all of these other games are going to. And that's what I really seek out whenever I look for online campaigning and stuff like that, you know. And I think it's going to be really fun, but honestly, I'm going to stick to Halo for Halo things and Star Wars for Star Wars things and Battlefield, I guess, now for Call of Duty things, but not for
that's a kick.
Now you just made me think of something I wish I would have remembered from my topic. Is they're bringing that back? Are they going to bring back the multiplayer for Turok? Because that would be kind of exciting.
Oh, that's probably something they're going to release later on.
Well, I mean, it was part of the original game, the multiplayer, but it wasn't online, of course, since it was N64. I wonder how that would be online play-wise. That would be kind of crazy.